CIG rolled out their new player experience with 3.19, implementing a badly needed walkthrough even at this early stage of the game. The learning curve on Star Citizen is huge, and even a small introduction helps. But is this walkthrough everything it could be? And does it really set a new player up for success in the verse? Let's take a shallow dive into the existing tutorial, and what I'd suggest for something that's a little different. Let's get this. If you haven't tried it yet, the current tutorial starts out here in Area 18. You wake up in your hab, get out of bed, get a drink of water, head downstairs, look at this here map, head to the gun store, and then pop up the well to Bajini. All in all, it's not a bad tutorial, but there's a few problems. First off, they have said that there's room for improvement, and they'll clean up some of the missing steps, like putting on your helmet, for example. But there's still the corridor between Area 18 and Bajini that is ripe for trolling. Without something completely artificial to protect new players, that will always be the case. There's other issues too, but how does CIG fix this? How do they create something fun and engaging to teach new players the ropes, while at the same time doesn't break the immersion the game is striving for? So I don't know how many of you have actually traveled to this room on Microtech, but it's downstairs in the Apple, let's call it the Moby-Glass store. If you did pop down here, you might have seen these weird little things saying off to the side. These are sim pods, and they've been with us as far back as the hangar module. Prior to us being able to fly around in the verse, this was the only flight experience you could get. You'd walk down in your hangar, you'd get in your sim pod, and you could access Arena Commander and fly there. As soon as CIG enabled the PU, they yank the sim pods, but their inclusion in New Babbage seems to suggest that they're still planned for some future gameplay. So here's what I propose. At their first load-in screen, just like now in 3.19, a new player is prompted to enter the tutorial or skip it at their own peril. Provided they enter it, they end up here, an elevator bound for somewhere. They are prompted to hold down the F key and open the elevator doors, and then they step out into the hangar, but not a room that we're familiar with in the current PU. Instead, they appear up there, in the room overlooking the hangar. Down below is the hangar with the Pisces in it, or whatever ship is their starter ship from their package, since that makes more sense, and since they have to have one to play the game at all. In the room they appear in, there's a drink and, say, a burger on the table, along with other things to play with, and a terminal. Like now, they'll be prompted to get a drink, maybe even their thirst or hunger start at 50% to kind of say, hey, this is how you deal with that. This complete, they'll be given a prompt to check the terminal. This terminal then tells the new player that they need to have their flight test before they can pilot a ship in UEE space. Then we'll ask them to enter the sim pod located in the room. The player is then prompted to enter the sim pod. At this point, the new player sees a logo and login that's familiar to all of us. As opposed to going through the usual ship selection screen, though, they're dropped into a simulation in, say, a Pisces. From here, they're prompted to go through the usual motions of flight control. So strafe left, strafe right, strafe up and down, back, and then start moving forward. Since it's a simulated environment, big holographic donuts for them to fly through won't seem out of place. And then they'll be prompted to land on one of the pads, where it'll walk them through the process of both landing and shutting down their ship, for safety reasons, call it. Once they successfully navigate this short driving test, the sim will end and they'll be able to step out. At this point, the door unlocks and they can take an elevator down to the hangar, call up landing services, and head out into the verse. So there's a few benefits to going this route. First, if the player crashes or explodes, there's no real consequences. They can play around and respawn in the simulation and get the hang of things. And if they screw up, they instantly respawn back at the starting location in their ship, as opposed to respawning in a hospital gown somewhere in the maze-like confines of Area 18. Second, with Arena Commander being its own thing, a player won't have to deal with things like low server ping or low frames. Third, there's zero chance that they'll be griefed by someone in the pipe from Area 18 to Bajini. Fourth, since it's a hangar in an isolated environment, the player could go through the simulation wherever they want. They're not tied to Area 18 as a starting location. This will be huge as the game progresses to other systems. And finally, and this is the part that's gold, other modules can be added as optional training simulations. Want to learn how to mine in a safe environment where the minables are right there and you can test out the loop? Want to learn how to salvage, learn how to repair a ship? You just add in modules in the simulated environment. Even seasoned players can log into these modules and practice, much as they do now with Arena Commander and Combat. And that's just my 2 cents on a quick idea for a new tutorial. So what's yours? Let me know down below, and please like and subscribe. We recently reached about 5 billion followers, and I need that sweet, sweet Surfshark money so that I can finish building my volcano lair. Catch me next time.